Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another segment of Read With Me. I am your host, Kelly Michelle. This is a channel that focuses on reading it together separately. So I choose a book. We will read that book throughout the month with the goal of completing 12 books by the end of the year. I will post Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays my reflections, thoughts, and takeaways from the assigned chapters that we read together. So, throughout the month of May, we have been reading Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. And we are working on the conclusion of this book. So today, I will be going over the first half of chapter 7, which is the last chapter in the book. Last time I went over the second part of chapter 6, and like I said, today we are diving into the first part of the conclusion chapter, which is chapter 7. And we will be going over pages 215 through 230. And before I get started, I want to just go over the disclosure, this disclaimer rather, is that I am in no way trying to teach these concepts as my own ideas, but I'm simply just telling you and sharing with you my takeaways and my reflections that I had from the readings in the chapter to encourage you to read the book as well. So without further ado, let's jump right into chapter 7, part 1, which is pages 215 through 230. And chapter 7 is titled Wholehearted Parenting, Daring to Be the Adults We Want Our Children to Be. All right, let's dive right into it. Pages 115 through 130. Number 1. In parenting, seeing someone making different choices, we perceive the difference as direct criticism of how we parent. Number 2. Our stories of worthiness and being enough begins in our family. Number 3. Compassion and connection can only be learned if they are experienced. Number 4. Parenting is a primary predictor of how children will be to shame and guilt. And number 5, shame for children is linked to the fear of being unloved. And there's so much to unpack in this first part. And to be perfectly honest, when I was reading some of the stories and some of the concepts and ideas that the author was sharing, Brene Brown, it was triggering for me because I could see in my own personal life when I was growing up some of the inadvertent, maybe subconscious ways in which my parents or adults or, adults that influenced me really shamed me. And I had to really negotiate with that and navigate and really reflect on that. And I'm not going to share just those personal stories just because they are very personal to me, but I can say that specifically this chapter, when I reflected on my own childhood, I could see there were definitely areas in which I was shamed. But I want to emphasize number 2, which was our stories of worthiness and being enough begins in our family. And I really do believe that so many things, as we know how we see ourselves, how we present ourselves, how we interact with other people, that is influenced, the beginning of that is influenced by our family. That's the beginning of it. And then it goes to, how school influences, how our peers influence. But I really do believe that the first seed of feeling worthy and feeling enough really starts with what is being taught, what is being displayed in our family unit. And, you know, I would say as a child, you know, there were definitely moments where I definitely felt very worthy. I always did feel that I was worthy of love. And I did feel that I was worthy of care and support, but there were definitely some gaps. There's definitely some gaps. And like I said, I'm not going to go into, you know, personal stories about worthiness or shame that happened to me and my family. But I will say with this first part of this chapter, I definitely was very reflective, and I really thought about how I was raised and how it has affected me, you know, going forward in life. And so I really want to encourage you, if you have not read the first part of this chapter at all, I really encourage you to read it for sure. So next time we're going to be concluding this book by reading going over the second part of this chapter, which is pages 231 through 249. So before I sign off for today, of course, I want to remind you of a couple of things. One is to get the book for June. And the book that we are reading for June is The Garden Within by Dr. Anita Phillips. So it is available wherever books are sold. So get your copy today. Also, I want to encourage you to take some time to read today. However much time you can allot, spend some time reading a good story or learning something new. And then finally, if you are enjoying this channel, I want to emphasize two things. Please comment. I would love to hear from you. How did you enjoy chapter 7? But then how did you enjoy the book? As we are close to concluding the book, how did you enjoy this book? Are there some things that you learned that really challenged you, that really helped you to grow? There were new concepts. I would love to hear from you. And also subscribe. Please subscribe so that this channel will continue to grow. I would love for our virtual book club to really grow. With that, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time, happy reading.